Ladies and gentle freaks, this is Sammy Classic Sonic Fan, bringing you a terrible commentary after a very, very short hiatus. Today, I would like to go back and do a commentary that I wanted to do for a very long time, but now I felt like it is a perfect opportunity to even think of doing such thing. Yes folks, it's on some edgelord named Neros Q, and his response video on Rebel Taxi. Hey. Now, Rebel Taxi's giving his thoughts in the 2016 reboot of the Powerpuff Girls in his top 10 worst animated reboots, lasted for 2 minutes. Well, the fucktard known as Neros Q decided to extend it to over 17 minutes. Yeah, since I have a 15-minute limit, I might have the guts to cut some shit out, because most of which has points that are just so bad that it is worth not talking about. Not to mention the fact that Neros himself disabled the ratings like a pussy, which just shows how much he is so fucking sensitive over criticism, yet he says he doesn't care who hates him. Anyway, let's get digging.
Oh man. Okay, Rebel Taxi? Or is it Pan Pizza? What the heck?
Look pal, if you can't memorize the name, you could just call him by his short name or something.
Look, someone needs to say something, and I really didn't want to be the one to do it.
If you don't want to do the video, just don't do it. I mean, it's not like someone is forcing you to do the video.
But I will. Your dislike for the new Powerpuff Girls show is alright, and I respect your opinion.
Holy fucking shit, the IGUA plague is at its peak of conquering mass human population.
Fuck this show.
But in all seriousness, this might bite him in the ass later on.
At least that's what I wish I could say.
I could just tell by his fanboyism that his slightest is uprising. It's quite obvious for some angsty man-child who hasn't even came out of his parents' basement since,
I believe you have given this show an unjust look-over.
I looked up the definition of lookover, and yes, the video is indeed a lookover. It would took me long enough if it wasn't for good pull Google.
And possess a majorly biased opinion on it. I'm going to look at what you got wrong, as I must critique the critic.
I'm sorry mate, the name has already been taken.
Powerpuff Girls 2016 at first feels like the old show, but you eventually realize they managed to screw up everything.
You haven't really watched the new Powerpuff Girls show, have you?
Well, it took long enough for Pan himself to make his full initial video in the subject matter of his thoughts in the Powerpuff Girls reboot. You could have the courtesy to wait for that, right? Oh wait, since this video came before Pan's video in the reboot, you wouldn't know, would you?
And I mean really watched it. Take off those cheap nostalgia glasses and give it a fair chance.
Oh ha. Cheap internet stereotype that the most edgy of people would fucking say.
Of course it's not gonna be like the original. But you know what? The original wasn't that great.
Took long enough, right?
Your dislike for the new Powerpuff Girls show is alright, and I respect your opinion. It was a good show, and me and my friends loved growing up with it, but it still has its flaws.
Like every other animated show ever existed. Of course the original had flaws. And you know what? Same thing goes to your precious reboot of the show. For instance, take a gander of the animation errors for the reboot itself. Trust me, there is a chunk of those.
For one, the animation was good, and it had its own style, but this show's animation is 100 times better!
Fanboyism still uprising, Maybe the juvenile colorful world of the reboot could be enough to please your man-child mindset that only likes shit bright and colorful. I have nothing against bright and colorfulness, but judging by Nero's supposed personality of the character or avatar, I guess he isn't edgy and shit after all.
The animation is fluent, and yes, I think it's a great improvement over Craig McCracken's style.
Well, this is the reboot we are talking about. Sure, Craig McCracken was obviously the creator of the original, but this has nothing to do with the original creator, since there is the creator of the reboot, which are two different fucking people. I kind of get where you are going for with the modern Craig style, but even at judging from the cast, your argument could be debunked easily.
I don't like his animation style that much, and if I had to choose between this and this,
Wow. Guess the party's over. Nice.
yeah, I choose the new style.
Look pal, you are picking a new style, that's great. But you are criticizing the critic, not forcing your own opinions down the critic's throats. If that's your intention, then you should have changed the goddamn title of your show.
And don't tell me you wouldn't.
I wouldn't, to be honest.
She'll be there.
The main joke about Powerpuff Girls is that it's cutesy soft girls in a sharp pointy rough world full of threatening villains. But the reboot is cutesy soft girls in a cutesy soft world full of cutesy soft villains. Where's the contrast?
What the heck are you talking about? That wasn't the joke of the show or the idea of the show. You wanna know what that was?
So when you originally created the Powerpuff Girls, what did you have in mind for the show?
I just wanted to do a really cool superhero show, and I just thought drawing 3 little girls as superheroes was way more interesting than a big, strong, muscly guy. Because you've seen that muscly guy a million times and it doesn't mean anything, but these little girls seem new and fresh, and they just seemed a lot tougher because they were so cute.
First off, now, if you guys don't even know, Powerpuff Girls was supposed to be the hidden parody for comic books or something, but the reboot is doing the exact same thing that the periodic intention was, which might defeat the purpose of the reboot. Sure, we got Teen Titans Go, which was, in my opinion, kind of good.
This new show still retains that, and the roundness of the characters, whether villain or not, adds to the new style of the show. That's not a minus, that's a plus.
Remember all the violence in the old show? Well, they chose to rarely show the impacts anymore.
Pick one of us!
No, they chose to make it similar to the original.
Really? Because I barely see the girls even touch the villain.
Because the creators of the show actually cared, and they wanted fans of the original to appreciate their attention to detail. They rarely even showed the context of the fists in the original show. And not to mention, did you just...
It's the Nut Shack. 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 It's the...
They could be slightly violent, but that's nothing compared to the opening theme, where Buttercup herself kicked on the villains, showing teeth falling out and blood being shown. Yeah, you don't usually see something like that in a children's cartoon nowadays, but didn't he usually show that, like, ever?
God, you're just all sorts of lazy.
What? I can't hear you. That's another problem I have with your video. Your audio balancing is fucking terrible. I can barely hear what you are fucking saying at any point, because it gives me the impression that my speakers are broken.
The show now has less crime fighting and instead has morals and bonding, character driving. Yeah.
Are you really complaining about that? Okay, where do I even begin?
How is that not a flaw for Rebel Taxi to complain about? I mean, what if the morals are pushed down your throat, and what if it is too sappy, even for him? To me, that could be a valid point from Penn.
Oh, man. How can you complain about a show that teaches kids moral lessons and makes you feel good at the end of the episode?
You know, I have nothing against morals, but you need to find a way to convey to them once easily without pushing it down their throat. I'm not talking about the reboot itself, but any fucking cartoons, hell, any TV show ever made. But what if the children don't feel good about themselves from the lesson the TV shows teach? Like for example, the earth is meaningless and you should commit suicide. I know the show doesn't teach this, but the point I'm trying to make is that not all teaching trying to be preached to their supposed target demographic are good.
Short answer, you can't. Because making these characters human and giving them personalities beyond the original is a much needed improvement.
I thought you were talking about morals. Now you are going to talk about the character personalities.
Oh God, morals. What are you trying to teach our kids? Life lessons that'll teach them while also making them feel good about themselves?
If there are morals like, hey, you should kill everyone to preserve world hunger, or any ridiculous moral like that, then yes, there might be something to complain about. By the way, I like your drawings, Neros Quaker.
Oh, how despicable. How dare they? What's wrong with the waffles, waffles, waffles from Teen Titans Go?
Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing.
You see how your argument seems a little invalid?
Dude, that's not quite what Rebel was saying in the video you are responding to.
It's amazing that the creators of the show even chose this route, especially with all the dumb parenting shows Cartoon Network has on now.
If you are referring to Teen Titans Go, you are the most brutal human being on planet Earth, because Teen Titans Go teaches morals that makes children feel good, while the reboot of Powerpuff Girls teaches kids that it is okay to kill people and do drugs. The reboot is just a ripoff of Teen Titans Go, because Teen Titans Go came out in 2014, see. And then the reboot came out in the fucking year of 20,990,000,2,340,399.
Like Uncle Grandpa, Teen Titans Go. Heck, even Gumball now just panders to kids.
Gumball, The Amazing World of Gumball came out in 92,939,239,203,992 AC, and Uncle G came out in the year of 949,599,595,969,595 AC. So yeah, that'll rest my case.